Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you watched the last one, you already know what we're doing. We're working on the wiring of the turbo EG hatch, K-swap EG hatch. A lot of acronyms and words and things going in here, but it's a 95 Civic. I believe it's a VX or DX. I'm not sure 100% because I've only had the car for a year, and so I put my built K20A2 in it with yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Go watch the last video, you'll get caught up to speed. We're wrapping it up. We're trying to get it running, and last video we got it kind of to crank through all of the what's left of the stock wiring. But this car doesn't have any factory wiring anymore except for the rear half of the car, and that's it. So the rest of it is things like the ignition switch, and I think honestly that's about it really. Maybe the hazard lights, dimmer switch, and just like all the switches, they've all been trimmed from their main harness. And case in point, this is literally the entire dash cluster harness now. So I whipped this up today, and now we're gonna put it in the car and see what we can get wired up, and see what we can get the ECU to do with the cluster now. So let's keep going. Alright, so we're now into Sunday. I guess the weekend vlogs are going to be a two-parter, I suppose. We ran into an issue last night. We were trying to check for the charging light, and we got nothing. And so I looked into it, and the hybrid harness has a couple of T's you have to add to your K-swap harness, which comes included. So the charging light was one of them, and I'll show you what we got going. I gotta hide my ECU to prevent the world from having a I'll show you. This is the E connector, which is the hybrid adapter harness, and it's got these couple wires. These couple wires we have to tee into some of these wires. So in their manual they tell you exactly where these go. And this one I gotta relook, but you can't see it. It says charging light, but so this is connector B and connector A that goes into the ECU from the engine harness, and then this is the I don't know which one this was, but it goes into the adapter, and that gives you your OBD stuff. So we're gonna try and get the dash indicators wired up here to some degree. I gotta do a little bit of research on how the brake stuff works, because that's realistically going to be the only thing that I don't know off the top of my head how it works. So I'm gonna look up this side, figure it out. I know one of these is gonna have to come back over here because it's usually taps into the harness for the car, but we don't have that, so we might even just have to run these over. I don't remember. I gotta see what they want. Go from there. Alright, it looks a lot more dramatic in here because the light's under there, but here's what we did. If you're like me, you don't have ELD, you don't have any of the stock wiring anymore, and you have a hybrid harness, or you're doing this yourself and you have to worry about the ELD and everything. First off, your fuel pump is your fuel pump trigger. This is what the ECU sends out when the pump comes on, so this is the trigger wire for your relay, meaning when the ECU grounds this wire, it will enable the fuel pump relay. This is the negative part of the signal for the coil. The other one is ELD. My car does not have an electronic load detector, so I'm just gonna roll this stuff back in here and disable it in ECU. And then the other option I have is the mill. The mill, that's gonna go that way. So the mill and the fuel pump signal are gonna go along my beautiful wire under there on the firewall, and it's going to go over here and talk to the rest of my electronics over in there, which is a giant freaking mess. So, and then my charging light, it just taps in nice and easy. Thanks, hybrid. Let's keep going. All right. So after a couple hours of tedious working in the wiring department and making a couple mistakes by cutting wires that I was supposed to be cutting, or just crimping it to the wrong wires, this is where we sit. And then I have the DTC tool just to tell me when I'm on point. And the cool part is the check engine light, the blinky blinky. Yeah, so right now, see, then it turns off. So yeah, that's that. So now I just got to do the rest of it. So right now it's just saying charge and oil, obviously, because there's no charge happening and there's no oil pressure at the moment. So yeah, that's the thing. The wiring down here looks a little messy, but we're starting to get to some level of understanding of things. Some of these in the actual main box are going to go away because I've repurposed them to work off of different ones, I think. So that's something else. But yeah. For example, I dual purposed my ignition. There's an ignition, an ECU, and an ECM PCM signal. Well, the ECM PCM signal comes through the ignition, so whatever. Anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is that we're getting there, and we're almost done. The mill obviously is wired up. The ELD has been rolled up out of the way, and then the other thing was the fuel pressure signal, which is hooked up, but I don't have the relay active. I have 2 hots I have to hook up, and then that should work. And I think that's kind of the next step is to make the actual main relay power and the fuel pump work. So once we do that, this car should fire. But I think that's gonna have to wait because I do have to be across town in about I don't know, 2 hours, which means I gotta go upstairs, get ready, and go. So I'll just keep this rolling through Monday. Focus, 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 focus. All right, so it's Monday. Let's talk about, let's take a break from wiring for like 5 minutes, and we're gonna work on something else. This is gonna be a lot more significant in my opinion. So today we got the axles. So we got our these are insane shaft 500 horsepower half shafts for K-swap and an EG. So we got those. We have a intermediate shaft behind me that I got for a killer deal. I don't know if the bearings are good, but whatever, we're gonna send it. And I got hardware to mount it. So we got to get the intermediate shaft in, and then we got to get the axles in, and then this thing will be mobile before long. So we're gonna go ahead and see what we can do. We also got to take a look at some of the suspension underneath, so we're gonna peek and poke at that and figure out why my ball joints make noise, so we can figure out if we need to order stuff or just tighten things. But go ahead and get a jacket up and do the thing. I guess it's time to put the welder away for now. We'll come back to the front end later. Alright, welcome to cell phone land, because G7X is dead as usual. So I went into figuring out what was wrong with the suspension, or looking into the suspension, and I pretty much determined that we're not going to be able to put these axles or the intermediate shaft in anytime soon. All I did was look at the front half of the suspension, and we got problems. We got major problems. Okay, so this is the passenger side of everything. This was loose, which it still is. I didn't tighten it all the way, but I just put all this back together. This was loose, this was loose. This is bad. Wheel bearing's so bad that the rotor the previous owner, the rotor, was rubbing through the dust shield down here. I don't know if you can see it right here. Right here. It's been rubbing through the dust shield, and this eBay arm has eaten what's left of this castle nut. I tried to get the castle nut off, and it's pretty much one with this. So now the whole suspension has to come apart. And yeah, that's just the passenger side. Let's go to the other side. So I didn't go in depth with this one, but this is untouched. So this side, the bearing is there's not a lot of play. There is some. It's got a lot of resistance. Oh, it might have problems. I don't know. It seems like this side doesn't have the screws, so I can't tell accurately, but I'm gonna guess it is and replace it anyways. This is, and this side looks like it's tight enough. Or maybe not, but I mean, it's definitely loose here. This whole side just needs to be gone through as well. And for my goal, which was to drive it this week, like Wednesday, is not going to happen. And the reason why I want to drive it this week is we're moving out. Got a new place with a 2-car garage, and we're going to be moving this over there in the near future, as well as everything else. We got to be out by the end of February. So we're definitely going to be taking a break on the hatch for a short amount of time while everything gets relocated, reorganized, etc. And unfortunately, this was kind of the last-ditch effort of hopefully having some sort of running, driving car by the time that would happen to be a thing. But starting tomorrow, I need to start worrying about moving things or getting close to moving things, because Wednesday I get the keys, tomorrow's Tuesday, and there's a lot of other stuff that comes with that. So I don't have everything I need to do the rest of the projects right now. I can continue wiring, but it's not going to do any good. So right now, we're just going to try and seal her up and get it towed over to the new place when we can. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out. We did some wiring. We got some things done, and we got the dash going happy. So very soon, the hatch will be running and under its own power and driving and doing all kinds of stuff. But this is this is my life when it comes to buying a $350 car, a cheap car. You know, the problem child's. So this is what it takes to save one properly. So if anybody knows anybody at K-Tune, BC Racing, places where they sell suspension components, whatever, that are reputable or decent, let me know, because I mean, it'd be really gangster to have some PCI stuff on this, but that's expensive. So if anybody's out there and wants to help out or whatever, hit me up on Instagram at GarageRapMedia, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. See if I'm hoping to get it to run, but I don't think that's. Well, I would love to have it driving by summer, but at this point, my plans are, you know, in the thousands of dollars, and I guess I gotta go upstairs and figure that out. But in the meantime, take it easy. We'll see you in the next one. Hopefully, we'll get to install these blinging axles and not just have to look at them. So stay tuned. We'll be back. Take it easy.